Atlas, Arlo, Yuli, and Homer are the four sons of Carrie and Jeff. Carrie's one of my closest college friends. We went to school together. She worked on my first few movies and then left the movie business to go be a fifth generation farmer and have these amazing kids. So then as we're very close, and as I'd visit and keep in touch, spent a little time with these guys and immediately swept away with their charms and charisma and thought, like so many times you're sitting around with a barroom napkin, you write an idea down you have, or you see something you think, "Yeah, you should be in a movie." This was just one of those like lightning bolts that come to you and say, "It's time to make a movie." It's the right amount of mischief, the right amount of just active, cool, living life, working on a farm, know how to lift things, know how to ride motorcycles, um, and drive tractors, and
Yeah. I also like that your friend moved away from the movie business and got on a farm, and you had to pull her back into it.
yeah.
It's like, no, you can't enjoy your life.
If you won't come to us, we'll come
I'm
to
going to
you.
bring the movie business to you. But I mean, shooting the movie at the boys' house, it was like we're so in their world, and it's so. It's like a wonderland there because it's just right. It's like all just like animals and dirt bikes and bicycles and just like fun is happening there all the time. And so I felt like I was always in their world, and they were always showing me stuff. And we had fireworks, we had bonfires like in the movie. I mean, it was all like on my birthday they did fireworks celebration, which was incredible. It was only like 2 days into the movie, and I was like, this is like the happiest place on earth.
It's like beauty, life, and love. And,
Yeah.
and, and you know, and I was at a point in my career. I've been making very dark films, and so who doesn't want a little beauty, life, and love in their movie going diet, in their professional life, and in their day to day living.
Yeah,
So
and that's what I love about the movie. Also, is this lack of cynicism. It's really heartfelt, and even when I read the movie for the first time, when I read the script, I was like, "This is he like kind of satirizing this?" And he's like, "No." David's like, "No, no, this is not satire. I'm not. This is real. This is heartfelt." Because it was like a type of movie that I remember growing up in the '70s and the '80s, and these kind of like fun family comedies, and like guy having to deal with a bunch of kids, and I thought, oh, is he doing some sort of commentary? And really, what was so I think kind of revolutionary about the movie is that like David basically said, no, I just want to make an honest, heartfelt movie that people can enjoy, and the humor comes out of that. It's not commenting in any way on that. I mean, I think these guys also ended up, for me, since they'd never been in a movie before, they were so just naturally good actors, and they were so real, and there was no artifice, and there was no like kind of understanding of how like it's like, oh, and you're gonna do your close up, then I'm gonna do my close up, and they didn't know anything about that, so they just were just real and there all the time. And I have to say, there were like moments when it got so crazy and everybody was cracking up because it was just so ridiculous. And there's one moment in particular that I think.
We all know about it.
Yes, why don't you tell them?
So one day on set, it was like supposed to be a really emotional scene. Ben was supposed to tell a bedtime story to these two, and Homer was in the closet, and we were all watching, and then all of a sudden there was just like a long like, psh, and we didn't know what it was because, and then it was actually Atlas fogging for 20 seconds straight.
A 20-second fart.
And,
Yes.
and I didn't even hear it because I was in the closet. That's where I live in the movie, in the closet. And I just heard from outside. And I was like, what was that? And then I just hear everybody start screaming. And I was like, oh no, what's going on? And I come out of the closet. Everybody's like, Alice farted.
So you have crew cracking up at things like that, and then that's when everybody looks at you and is like, well, we did set out to make an artsy fartsy film, so they're just putting a little bit more fartsy in it.
Exactly. And it was, I mean, and the boys started laughing, and I was just like, this is just like unlike any other movie set that I've ever been on.
But one of the things about it is it was such an unpredictable every day. You had your scenes and we'd workshopped everything, and then ultimately it gets down to the characters in front of the camera listening to each other and reacting to each other, and that's when my buddy Ben steps in, and in all of those uncertainties you can spin into comedy gold, and sometimes just that beautiful side of awkward emotion that lets you know that this movie's reaching for something a little bit more authentic. Sure, we're playing in some of our favorite tropes of movies, but we're also trying to bring a spin that's not just the bubblegum of those movies, but bring something that feels a little bit more lived in, a little saltier side of it.
I think you know, it's probably a broader discussion about like what, you know, what the studio movie landscape is now. But I think people ultimately go to the movies because they want to feel something. They want to laugh. They want to cry. They want to connect. They want to escape. And what I love about this movie is it's kind of all of those things. And it is there's that nostalgia for me of going back to that kind of movie that I used to go to the theater to see. And I think it's just filmmakers like David who are committed to making the kinds of movies that they loved when they were coming up and that influenced them, and just making a commitment to do it and go for it. And, you know, maybe like 30 years ago, this would have been a studio movie, you know, but what was great about this is that it was done totally independently, you know, for a pretty small budget, that David could have total freedom to create this world that he wanted to. And I think people are hungry to go see that kind of movie again in the theaters, you know.